Well, to me, it's like, one side, um, not good enough. Don't go near the bad side. These bad people over here, they're not good enough. This is good on the other side, much better. My name is Cynthia Nelson, and I was born 1953. I was born in Miami, Florida, and we stayed in Florida for a couple years, and my dad came up to Detroit looking for work. He sent for us, and so we stayed in the city of Detroit maybe 10 years. Then we moved to Highland Park, where I continued schooling. I even attended the community college that they had in Highland Park. I attended there and graduated there. I got married in 1979 and moved back to Detroit.
Were you familiar with this wall before coming here today?
Well, me personally, I heard it on the news years ago. It could have been Channel 7 or 2. I heard about it on the news, and because I'm not from this area, unfortunately, I didn't take the seriousness until I did some research on it. When I did my research on this wall, then, shame on me, for not, coming to see it, coming to touch it, the history behind it. Because I lived in the era of that. And so, what my husband...
Unlike that, I've been to the wall before. My name is Ronnie Nelson, and I'm a lifetime person of Detroit, although I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. My family actually moved into Detroit in the area, New Center area, back in 54, in 53. I was born in 54, and my parents just happened to be gone back down to Birmingham, Alabama to visit my other family members. We moved in a area that at that time was predominantly all white, and we were amongst the first black family to move in that area. I attended Cass Technical High School, downtown Detroit. At that time, it was predominantly white also. And but I've been living in Detroit all my life since then. And here I am today to talk about the little history that I know of the Burwood Wall. Thank you. I had a friend that was probably 20 years older than me, and about 35 years ago, I used to come and visit him, and we would come over and he would talk about the wall because he grew up right in front of the wall, and he would talk about all the different racial conflicts that he and his friends had when they were growing up, coming over to the wall and trying to play with the white counterparts on the opposite side. And
Not that tall.
no, it's not that tall, but as kids, it made a difference for them. Made a difference, because they were little, and they would try to climb and want to go over on the other side, and they would be called out their names, and they were called nigger, go home, and things of that nature. And so I was familiar with the whole wall concept. I didn't know how far it went as far as why the wall was really built, other than knowing that it was a separation point.
What did this wall represent to the two communities when it was erected? What does it say to the people? What was it saying to people?
Well, to me, it's like, one side, not good enough. Don't go near the bad side. These bad people over here, they're not good enough. This is good on the other side, much better on the other side.
That was pretty much like government saying that, more so than the people, because they're are definitely some good white people and some good black people, you know, and I think it was more government because they redlined the city
Yeah.
and to separate the black people from being able to get any type of financing to build their own homes, even though they had great jobs, just like the white people.
Worked
when they
alongside of
came-
them.
when they-
And it's interesting speaking with you both on this topic because you're the children of the people who moved during the Second Great Migration. So you get to see like the immediate, you saw the and felt the immediate after effects
Yeah.
while growing up.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, because I come from being able to grow up seeing Ku Klux Klan rallies and driving through the midst of it and going to the places where no coloreds were allowed because black people were called coloreds at that time. And you know, I've been to places where we couldn't go into the restaurant and things, all of that, because I came from Alabama, and it was very predominant down there. It was definitely separate everything.
I just want to add something about redlining. Redlining. And I was just wondering, do you think any of that is going on today in 2025?
Absolutely, it's still going on.
Still going
It
on
still
today.
exists. It's, you know, it's just being done differently, so that the laws that were created to stop redlining would not be
So
stepped
obvious.
And do you all think that the artwork on this wall is more of a reclamation of what was? How do you feel about looking at it right now?
I think this wall, what they did, the murals that they painted here, was to deplete, just to bring out happy colors in the community, to make people happy and to be peaceful and to bring out more love amongst each other. You know, the colors, that's why they're so bright
and festive.
and festive.
Yeah,
That's
and to make people not think about
the
what,
black side.
what the wall
Yeah.
was really meaning, because when somebody come up and look at this wall, they won't think anything about it being a form of segregation.
How would you describe it being like growing up in Detroit in the 60s and 70s?
Oh,
Well, growing up in the 70s, like I was in high school. I had the best time of my life. And
well, try the 60s. when,
well, 60s too at school. But you know, it was still a lot of little bitty racial things going on, because of course I was around with the 67 riot. At that time, which was pretty interesting, I stayed in the city of Highland Park, and the riot was in Detroit. We were less than half a block, and so the National Guard, they blocked the city of Highland Park because they wouldn't let looters or people come into the city. And so being like 12 years old, that's pretty scary to have the National Guard, you know, on the street, tanks, National Guardsmen all on the roof.
Snipers.
And they were
it was,
they were protecting the city of Highland Park, where all that didn't
they
come in.
They didn't want to let Highland Park was known at that time as a city of trees.
Oh, when I was
and
in,
it was still
beautiful.
Still very, very pretty and very well kept. It was called an inner city suburb.
That's right.
And so at that time, that when the riot started, which I stayed closer to where the riot started.
Yeah, he was in Detroit.
When it started spreading. You know, it started spreading around, and they wanted to block it off from spilling over into any of the suburbs around.
I think most people commonly, I'm very optimistic, but I think the common idea from this conversation is people kind of fall in a gray area with what the future of Detroit looks like. And I think
Yeah, they
ultimately
do.
it's up to our generation.
Right.
Yeah,
It's the younger generation that's going to have to carry it on their shoulders, because it's, you know, right now it's growing back up because Detroit had lost its population had reduced way down. But now, over the past 5 or 10 years,
Yeah.
the population has been growing back again.
It has.
At one point, Detroit was the 5th largest city in the state, I mean, in the country of the United States, and dwindled down to way down the list somewhere.
But I have hope for Detroit as well. I have hope for it. You know, we just need the right people in there running it. And I think Duggan, you can quote me 100%, did an excellent job for the city of Detroit.
Oh yeah, he brought back a lot of good
I hate to
things.
see him go.
He brought back a lot of good things.
I'm excited for her, and I do plan on supporting her. I do, but I just know what Duggan did, and I'm praying Mary will get
And Mary,
right in there.
Mary Sheffield came from a family of Sheffields. Her father, I actually went to school with her father, and her grandfather was highly respected in doing things for the black community and economically. He was highly respected and very, very well supported, her grandfather. And then her father stepped into the same shoes that he was in.
Right.
And,
She's been city council for a little bit too.
And so,
you
so
know.
she has,
She's got the
she's got enough background people, you know, that would be with her. So I think she would be good and do good as a continuing mayor. You know, if she can get some white support of the major players and major corporations, like Duggan was able to bring in white investors, right? And you know, it was easy since he was white. It was easier, whereas you know a black mayor is not going to have it as easy. You know, but hopefully, with things being set in motion, she can take them to another level. You know.
I have no further questions for either of you. I think we wrapped it up quite well. I appreciate you both for sitting here talking about this topic with me.